A few more minutes until we get started today. We've got lots and lots of work to do today. Last week of practice for everybody. The absolute last week of practice. Cameras on. Oh, Giselle, you're driving.
No. I'm just sitting beside the driver. My mom's driving.
Okay, so you be careful though, because I don't want you to distract anybody while you're driving.
How are you, Kelly? Are you okay?
I'm very well, thank you. And yourself?
I'm fine, thanks. How is your food? Improving?
It's improving. Yep. I've got another couple of weeks, and then I'll be able to ditch the crutches, which will be fantastic.
But less pain now, isn't it?
Oh, pain is, I have to say, diminished almost. So I'm getting there.
That's good. Good to hear that.
Thank you for asking. Appreciate it. Wonderful. Okay, so I can see a few cameras on at the moment. Tanu, you're just wiping your eyes. You just got up, have you?
Good morning, Kelly.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Better.
Excellent.
You're better with your foot?
Yeah, my foot is, as I say, still on 2 crutches. I'm going to try and ditch one next week if I can, so I can just do 1 crutch. And then eventually it'll be just walking unaided, which will be absolutely fantastic.
It's painful. A few years ago, I have the same problem.
So you know it really does hurt.
Yeah, I know how it is, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's funny, interesting how the human body is able to cure itself or heal itself so quickly, in a way. Because, you know, after you've had a break and in about 6 to 8 weeks, you can be back to where you were if you've obviously followed the instructions properly.
First day is painful, but after...
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
It's bearable.
I think we get used to it with pain, that's why. Yeah,
true. Very true. So it's lovely to see you all this morning. I'm just going through cameras on. Here we have Renato's on. Good morning, Renata. Lovely to see you. Good morning. David, lovely to see you. Nice to see you, David. Hello. Desi's on. Good morning, Desi.
Hi, Kelly.
Lovely to see you. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very good. I'm always good when I'm here to lecture to you guys. I'm always lifted by you all. So my pleasure to be here this morning. So we've got Uchenna. Hello, Uchenna. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning. How are you doing too?
I'm doing very, very well. Very well. So this week I'm going to be picking up on all the technicalities in relation to debating, because guess what? Next week is mock examination, week 10. So this is the last week to really kind of use a bit of sandpaper and smooth out any of the edges you have in terms of your presentation skills. A real opportunity this morning to really put yourself out there and present yourself. So I'm so glad to see so many of you with your cameras on. I'm ready to go. I've got Felicity now. I can see.
Good morning.
Good morning, Felicity. How are you?
Very good, thank you. And you?
I'm very well indeed. Lovely to see you this morning. I've got Alice now with your camera on. Alice, nice to see you.
Morning.
Good morning. Raring to go, I hope. Inut, I'm delighted to see your camera on this morning. Lovely to see you. That's the way to go from now on. Week 9, week 10 is mock examination, and week 11 is examination. So we've got no time at all. Can you imagine now? We've run out of time, basically. We're now on it. Here's an opportunity now to put into practice what you've learned and to take forward that learning into exam conditions for next week when we start on our mock exams. All right, after the mock, we're into the real assignment, and I will be marking you in terms of your performance. So I've got Chinar. Good morning, Chinar. Lovely to see you.
Good morning, Kelly. How are you?
I'm very well. And yourself?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well.
Good. And welcome to Sharonda. Hello, Sharonda. Lovely to see you.
Good morning, Kelly.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Look forward to- And Abdul's on the call. Hello, Abdul. Hopefully you'll pay attention. You're looking at me today, Abdul.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
How are
Nice
you?
to see you, Abdul. Okay,
Lovely to see you too.
brilliant.
My whole family are sick, flu.
Oh no, sorry to hear that.
Oh, all of us, fresh school. I'm getting
Oh,
better now, but my family, there's.
oh dear, I'm really sorry to hear
It's
that.
all right.
I wish you well, and I wish you, you know, a speedy recovery.
I'm getting better. Only my family now.
Oh,
But
I hope they get better.
yeah,
Okay. Okay. You know, good wishes for the health of your family.
thank you.
Abdul.
Thank you.
So I've got on the call as well, Elise. Yeah, Elise, you're a little bit dark, and says you Uchenna. So try and see if you can get some, I don't know, is it forward lighting so that we can see your faces? Because today, absolutely today, is a last opportunity to practice, to rough out some of those edgy bits, to practice everything that you've learned. And I need to be able to see you. And if I can see you, then I can give you some much more intense feedback on how you performed today. So try and see if you can get some lighting on the front of your face. So I can see you. Okay, so good morning, Aluchi. I see you've been on the call for hours, so you're always the first one on. Lovely to see you, Aluchi.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Nice to see you. Looking forward to interactions today. Time to practice today. Get into those debates. No time to lose, guys. Everybody on the call today should want to actually do a presentation. 2 minutes to practice. Doesn't matter how it goes. Make sure you have an opportunity to feel what it's like to do 2 minutes of presentation. Because remember, you're going to have to do it for real in exam conditions next week, week 10, mock exam. And then you're going to have to do it absolutely as if you were doing your exam. Your assignment is being marked on week 11 or indeed on week 12, okay? So really important messages today about actually participation. Okay, Ava's on the call with no camera. Ava, if your camera isn't working now or you're having problems with your internet, you must do something about it today. If your camera is not on for the examination, guys, you will be, in fact, I probably can't even mark you. So you could absolutely fail the module if you can't get your camera on. So you really must try, if you've got problems with your internet, problems with your camera, you must try this week to do what you can to get your camera ready, your audio ready for participation in your mock exam, but more importantly, for the actual exam on week 11 or week 12. Can't emphasize that enough. One of the rules is if you don't have your camera on, I cannot give you any marks, okay? Because we have to verify. You can understand we have to verify and authenticate that you are presenting for your examination. So that's really important. Week 11, week 12, and indeed for the mock examination, all cameras will need to be on. Without your camera, you will not receive a mark. So that's really important. Okay. So Pelage, I see Fahima, you're on. We've had a conversation this morning. No problem. I understand your situation. Fahima, please note what I said about, you know, for the mock exam and for the weeks following, we may need to discuss how that's going to work for you. Okay. I have got, who else have I had on the call? It's disappeared now. I think I've gone through everybody. I think it's on the call at the moment. I believe so. Good.
Kelly, is it because I've been missing some class you forgot about me?
Oh, I'm sorry, Jeffrey. I did see you, but yeah, in my talking, I never forget about you. I'll never forget about you. Classes you've been here, you've made your contribution. So don't worry, Jeffrey. I'm sorry about that. Apologies to you.
And again, apology for missing some class. It's getting difficult to fit my schedule at work. Today I have to skip work.
I know, it's awful. I know it's so difficult trying to balance everything. I understand. Do of your best. And guys, we've literally got, you know, a couple of weeks. So do of your best, because I don't want anyone not to get through this module. My aim, my goal is to get everybody through. But I need you to be here and I need you to participate. And I know work's hard, but find a way to work around it in the next couple of weeks. Book holiday, do whatever you need to do, but try and find a next, you know, especially for the mock exam next week, and the week after, week 11s and 12. That is the bottom line. All right, you must be here, depending on which week it is. If you decide to go for week 11 to do your exam, make sure you're there. You turn up on time. In actual fact, folks, it'll only be for about what? An hour and a half. If you give yourself an hour and a half of slot time, just have to be there, camera on, audio going, and that will be fantastic. All right. Okay, so guys, I'm happy to take any questions today throughout the session, because this is the last opportunity really to kind of, as I say, rough out the edges. So let's get started. So today, our final topic of the 9-week debate topics is really, or not even 9 weeks, a 5-week debate topics is actually technology. One of my favourites, I have to say, and it tends to be one of the students' favourites. It's a lovely topic. I've put it in the chat to remind you all what the topic's about, but I thought it'd be quite nice just to get started in terms of having a little bit of a warm-up discussion around this subject, because technology covers a wide range of issues. And I suppose you can bring to bear some of the evidence, some of the examples from those wide-ranging issues that the actual thing covers, but be mindful about the question. And I suppose my tip to you this morning is answer the question. Always answer the question in relation to the theme. All right. So let's go back to that. Let's go to my chat. I just want to go to the chat. Let's see if I can get it on here now while I'm sharing.
Good morning, Kelly.
Good. Who's calling? Who's speaking now?
Amma. It's Amma.
Oh, okay, Amma, you've missed the first bit, which is quite important. For your exam, Amma, you must not be late. That's another issue, guys. For the actual examination, you can't afford to come in late, because there'll be security on the assessment process. If you're late, you're going to miss your slot, okay? And there's no chance of redoing that. So make sure you're always on time from now on, guys. It's really important. So good morning, Emma. Sorry to use you as an example, but that's really important. Try to show up next week for the mock on time, but more importantly, for the examination, you have to be on time for your slot. If you miss,
Yes, please.
Yeah. If you miss your slot, that's it. Okay. So
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, just so that everybody's aware of that, guys. All right.
Kelly,
Hello.
hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, so for next week, Friday next week, we have one mock exam.
So next week, yes.
The noises. It's not my noise, okay? Just letting.
Yes, please go on mute, because I can't really hear the person trying to ask a question. Please ask.
So for the next week, we have one mock test, and then the next following week we have the proper test. It's like that. It's just twice, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, absolutely. So next week is a mock examination, and like everything, it's a practice examination. Mm-hmm. You all will be subjected to exam conditions. So there'll be no talk. In fact, I'll take a minimum role, other than being the chair, to hear your 2 minutes presentations. So in actual fact, I'll be acting almost I will be acting in examination mode, okay, for the process. It's a mock examination to give you an indication of what it will be like to do the exam.
The proper exam in the next following week.
And the following week, you will be into your proper examination.
Cool.
So yes, so look, hasn't it gone quickly? I told you it would. We are now week 9. Week 10 is mock. Week 11 is examination. For those of you we've got 2 weeks for examinations, well, 11 and 12. For those of you who would prefer to defer their examination to week 12, you can do that. You can do that. Most students, when I've taught classes, have wanted to do it on week 11 to get it over and done with. So it's entirely up to you. You can do it on week 11 or you can do it on week 12. We'll have to discuss that probably today in terms of where you sit, because we need to know which week you were doing your exam, because I'll put you into groups in relation to that too. So those who want to actually get it over and done with on week 11, I'll put you into that group. If you are not doing your examination on week 11, you've decided to defer it to week 12, you'll have to do what's called private study. So we'll have an assignment for you to do, which I will play no part in. You'll have to do that in your, you'll have to do it like in the lesson time, without interacting with us. Then you will put your answers to your private study into the VLE. All right? Does that make sense, guys? Any questions on that at all? Any questions?
Just the topic. Are you going to give us the topic at the same day?
Well, for the examination, I will give you the topic. No, I'm not going to give it the same day. I've got to I've got to allow you to prepare. So for in your mock exam, you will have the topic definitely for examination at your mock exam. And in fact, I might be a bit generous and see if we've got time to do it today, to think about groups, because it's the groups. You'll get into groups. I'll put you into groups, and that group chooses the topic. And that's why I've said to you over the last 9 weeks, you must try and attend and get into the idea of debating these topics, because one of those topics, you can choose you can choose for the mock exam, you can choose it in your group for the mock exam, but more importantly, your group will be choosing the topic for the real exam. The only thing I would say is if you choose an easy subject, and then none of them are easy, as you know, you choose your favorite subject in the mock exam, you won't be able to do it in the real assignment. So think about it. So your mock groups will be your real examination groups, to be honest with you, and you'll not be able to choose the same topic. You'll have to choose a different one. Does that make sense? Yeah, do you understand that? Any questions or queries so far, guys?
Yes, Kelly.
Hello.
Yeah. The will exam, are we doing it in groups or individually?
Well, you are assessed individually, but you'll be doing it in groups of 6. Yeah. So 6 people, 3 arguing for the topic and 3 arguing against the topic will be a group, and they will have a time slot to come to the session. When they come into the session, the video recorder will go on. I will start the process and ask those 6 people to get into a debate. You will be numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you will give your 2-minute presentation in that order. So obviously number 1 starting it and number 6 finishing it. Okay, and as we talked before, it's all diagonal debating. Yeah. Once those 6 have done their 2 minutes presentation, there will be an opportunity for those 6 to do rebuttals, to say, well, I disagree with what my colleague or my peer or the speaker of the opposition team said. You'll be able to give a rebuttal, and they also give you, that gives you marks. But a very good question. You'll be examined as a group, you know, the process as a group, but the assessment will be based on your individual performance, yeah? How you do, whether you are, you're on topic, whether you fulfilled the task, whether you are coherent, whether you are fluent, yeah? So it's all based on your own individual assessment. So if your group, someone in your group messes up, don't worry about it, because primarily
So what?
you'll be on.
What of
Hello.
a student who choose to do it in week 12? We should still involve in week 11.
Sorry?
Debating. When a student choose to do the week 12 one, the examination, by doing independent studies and then
well, you can't do it on week 12 if nobody else is doing it on week 12. So if you're the only one, so if you're the only one that says, "Oh, I want to do it on week 12."
All right.
Yeah. Okay.
So on the mock exam for next week, today we'll have the topic here. You give us the topic today.
Of course I will. Yes,
and
absolutely.
of the final exam, the topic will be next week. You will give us the topic next week.
You'll choose it next week.
We will choose next week.
Yeah, in your mock exam. So you can see the next 3 weeks are really important. You can't not be here. If you don't turn up, you won't know what group you're in. You won't know what topic you've got.
I won't be here if you have died, but if you have not died, I will be here.
Well done. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm sure I'll see you next week. On that note, most definitely. So now we're into, as I say, we've ramped it up a gear now, guys. We've ramped it up. We are now into serious examination mode. And I don't want to scare you, but you should be scared. You should be nervous. You should have a bit of trepidation, because we're on to the real thing now. Yeah, and that means that I want you to really work hard and prepare yourselves and understand how the whole process works. Oh, every question today, put it to me. There is no
Last question, please. Can we choose our group or suggest our group?
No. I will choose your group for you. Thank you for an answer. That's a very good question. I will choose your group for you, and it will be done randomly. I'll put you into a breakout group, so there's no question, oh, I want to work with that person, or I know they're great, so I want them in my team. Okay? All right? Okay, can you go on mute? So this is one of the other things, guys. If you're not talking in the assessment, and I hear a lot of background noise, I'll have to ascertain who that is, and I'll have to do a code of conduct mark against you, which means that it will reduce your overall mark. The reason being is that obviously I need to be able to hear everything that individual is saying in relation to their debate. All right, so really important to be mindful that background noise is disruptive. Yeah, really disruptive, and you need to go on mute at all times other than the time that you're wanting to speak. The other thing is that we've not really used a lot of protocol of putting your hands up, because it is sometimes difficult even for me to see all the hands going up. But be mindful that if somebody is talking, let them finish, and then obviously, particularly today, that you come in and ask a question. Any more questions going forward? I will be reiterating a lot of this information before we close today, so don't worry. We will be doing it. I suppose what I want to do today, the focus of today, is to get you some practice. So let's get into the lecture, unless there's any other burning questions that anybody wants to raise. Anything else that anybody wants to raise? No? Good. Right. I'm saying to Jacqueline, Ava, Alucci, try and keep your cameras on today, guys. You know, even if you have to go for a small break, try and keep your cameras on for the majority of today, because this will give you the interaction needed, and certainly for me, the interaction needed to put you in a good place. So Jacqueline, I haven't seen you on your camera. Can you put your camera on, Jacqueline? Jacqueline, are you there? Jacqueline?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you put your camera on then, Jacqueline, please?
I will in a minute. I'm on my phone. I'll just switch to the MacBook. Thank you.
Right, okay, guys. So full participation today, really important for you, you know, to have that full participation, and also respectful for your fellow colleagues who are also engaging on the call today. That's really important.
Kelly, I just have a question about the exam.
Yes, Desi.
So we're going to have 2 minutes each, and then after everybody's done, we're gonna be doing rebuttals.
Yes.
Each of us, and how long does it each person have for rebuttal?
Well, we have a total kind of, we've got a window of opportunity of about 6 to 10 minutes, depending on how long each person's rebuttal is. Free flow, actually, Desi, to be honest with you, free flow. So it's up to you how long you want to make your rebuttal. But remember, one thing I'd say about rebuttals, they've got to be relevant. They've got to be relevant. You perhaps might want to think about any evidence that you can suggest to make them credible as well, you know. So it's no use someone rebutting the opposition based on everything they've said in their presentation, just that, because it means really you're just repeating what you said before. So if you're going to do rebuttal, think carefully about it. Think about what you're trying to achieve from it. Is it really is it really a counter argument that you're putting forward here, or is it just the fact that you're saying, well, I disagree with my hands up? Yeah. So just think about rebuttals being quite an important part of the process.
So this will not be timed as such, only the first.
It won't be timed as such. It won't be timed as such. So that's fine, Desi. It's a bit more free flow. It gets you a chance to kind of put your point really in a different way, and also to showcase yourself. It is a little bit about, here I am, I'm showing off on this because, yeah, I want to get some extra marks here. I've understood and I've listened. Absolutely important that you engage in that.
And would you be rebutting the last person speaking, or do you have to rebut the whole team?
No, you can rebut anything, or you can rebut even the first present. Obviously, not your own team. Don't rebut your own team. Please don't, guys. If you rebut your own team, then I'm going to think, hang on a minute, it's an own goal. But you do want to, you could rebut the opposition any place. And once you've done your presentation, I suggest you write notes on things you don't like. I heard so-and-so put so-and-so down. Or indeed, if you've done some preparation, you may know what the opposition's going to come with, and you'll be able to pick up something from the oppositions and say, I knew they were going to raise that. Right, I've got something for them. I'm going to counter argue it on the basis of this because I've done my research. Yeah. So the rebuttals is subtle, but it's a clever way of gaining extra points, and if done well, it's a perfect way to showcase how well you've done and whether you've listened and whether you've done research on the topic. So thanks for that question. So Lucci, you had your hand up, but I don't see anything.
For a while now, but I enjoy listening to you talk all the time.
Oh, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is that because we're going for and against, so basically anything you say, if you're on the for group, you'll also be rebutting whatever your colleagues are saying.
On the opposition group.
What the opposition group is saying.
Yes.
So if at that point, because you're of the opposite of the positive, so if at that point anything you say is still rebutting.
Yes. So yeah, and that's the whole objective, isn't it? So you're trying to say, look, you know what, you three on that side have given your point, but actually we three on this side don't agree with you.
Yeah.
And here's my point to push either one of you or the whole lot of you over the edge, basically. And as I said to Desi, if you've done your research, you almost should know what they're coming with. You should really have an idea of where they're going in terms of this debate. So you ought to be able to have some little bit of evidence, maybe an example, in your pocket there, in your notes for rebuttals, to say, look, you know, I knew they were going to say that, and you could come back and say, well, actually, you made an interesting point. Let's just pull someone out of the thing. Emma, you made an interesting point when you stated so-and-so. However, research has suggested, or according to so-and-so, or in light of a recent newspaper article on this subject, I would say that your evidence, your point isn't credible enough. And this is the example I'll use to suggest that. Yeah, so you're kind of trying to push them. They all stand in a line, proud as punch. They've put their presentations. They want me as the I suppose the chair of that to say, yes, you know, you want to say, it's not sound. Remember what we did about crap some time ago? The crap and our credibility? Yes. Using maybe a bit of authority. Is it accurate? Is it purposeful? All the things that we did, and using that analogy. Have you got sufficient evidence to gently nudge them off the edge? Yeah? That's what you're doing with your rebuttals. And that's why we give you extra marks, because it's taking the debating to the next level. It's not just about, oh, I've done my bit, I've done my 2 minutes presentations, I've put my point, I've proved my point, I've got my evidence, I've concluded it. It's a little bit more than that. It's about I've listened, I've understood, and I'm interacting. I'm interacting. That's what it's proving, that you've pushed your debating capability up to level 2. You're not on the first platform, you've done it. You've gone to level 2. That's why we reward you with extra marks. Does that make sense? Yeah? If people are struggling with anything I'm saying, let me repeat it, because this is our last really opportunity to roughen off those edges. Yeah? Okay.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Abdul.
Yes, and on this point, an example, if I bring a point, so someone rejects or objects my own point, but I have the right to defend if I know that I'm right?
Absolutely. That's the whole idea of it being a little bit more free flow when it comes to the rebuttal stage.
Okay.
So Desi might come back with a really good rebuttal and say, look, you know, Abdul, you made this particular point. I would refute that because actually, I think that, you know, the example you used was quite weak. My research indicated that it's weak in this way, and therefore I think your point is a bit unsound. You may come back, Abdul, and say, well, thank you very much for that, Desi. Although, you know, I appreciate that you've done research on this, I'd like to come back on that and say, well, actually, this example, if you look at it in more depth, leads you to a particular conclusion, and I've got some additional evidence that I can bring to bear on that, which will take my point forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Exactly that. So you're absolutely right, Abdul. You should be wanting to defend, because people will be there trying to push you off your platform. Why wouldn't you want to say, hang on a minute, I'm getting back on? You can't, you've tried, but I'm getting back on, or you haven't got there far enough. So that the whole process of rebuttals will last roughly, approximately, as I say, between 6 to 10 minutes. I've had to cut them, because that's where all the debating really happens. That's where people get exercised and excited and rightly so, you know, wanting to defend their particular point. So sometimes I might have to say, look, you know, you've had 2, 3, 4 bites of the cherry. Anybody else want to have a go? And then we will kind of cut the debate. But it's a wonderful opportunity, guys. This is fantastic course, you know. I have to say, it may seem really daunting, but it's the best practice in terms of real life, what's the word, critical thinking that you could ever be exposed to. So my advice to you, enjoy and engage with every single minute of it. It's amazing. It is amazing. So really, don't, you know, my other mantra is that I always put down is feel the fear, and we can't do anything about that. We're human beings. We have that anxiety. You know, I'm like it. And I've told you, I've been in meetings and my heart's been pumping away. And I say, shall I say something? No, I shouldn't. Should I say something? Oh my gosh, if I say it, it's going to all come out wrong. I don't want to say it. I've been in those situations. But sometimes you have to feel the fear and do it anyway. And what's the worst thing that can happen? So it didn't quite come out the way you wanted, but actually you tried. And you've made a try that could probably put you in a better position than if you hadn't tried at all. All right? So guys, you're here to try. And don't look so worried. I've never seen you look so worried, actually, in all the weeks. I can see the real worry on your faces. But don't worry. You've got this. All you need to do in the next couple of weeks is put some work into this, guys. Stick with it. And I've got you if you can put your work in, all right? And today what I'll do, before we leave the session today as well, we will actually try to go through the criteria. So you've got it in your head. You know, this is what Kelly will be marking me on. This is what Kelly will be assessing me on, yeah? So you'll have that firmly fixed in your head when it comes to the examination, yeah? So you kind of think to yourself, your 3 questions, what is it I'm trying to prove? How am I going to prove it? And the conclusion. And think about the criteria for the assessment, yeah? That makes sense, everybody? Any more questions before we quickly move into
quick one,
chat?
please?
Yes, please do.
Good morning, Kelly. Thank you.
Good morning, David.
I want to know something. Maybe you say before, but I don't pay attention, or maybe I have problem. You will tell us who was for or against in the debate? Oh.
Sorry, say that again?
You will tell us who was for or against in the debate?
Yes, of course.
But before or?
Before.
Ah, okay.
So today, by the end of the session today, we'll know the groups for the mock examinations, and those groups will be the groups for the real examination. Okay. For the mock examination, I'll give you a topic. You'll choose. In fact, if you can't choose a topic, I'll give you one, but you could choose a topic in that group. And also in that group, I'm going to come in like I do on the breakout rooms while you're in the group and choose whether you're in the for or the against, yeah? And so for your homework, for your mock examination, you'll come the following week with your knowing which side you're going to be on, knowing which side you're on, and with your research to present in the mock examination. All right?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I may be a little bit kind. I might actually give you an opportunity to think while before the mock examination, what topic you might want to choose, because you're going to be in the same groups. You want to choose for the real examination. Might give you some space to think about that too, which will give you a little bit more time than to do some prep for the real thing. Okay?
Yes, thank you.
No problem, David. This is tough. And there is a lot of process involved in this. It's all tough, I know. You know what? It's not easy. Every time I do this module, when I come towards the end, I just know that you guys are going to feel, a little bit, a bit of trepidation, I'd say, a little bit of anxiety around it. But I've got you as long as you put your work in, yeah? All right? And believing me, it'd be over in a flash. You think, oh, where did that go? 12 weeks or 11 weeks of work. Where did that go? Yeah. But you'll be fine. Everyone will be fine. Just do your best, all right? Any other questions before we move into this idea of looking at technology very quickly?
I do, Kelly.
Yes, please.
In terms of the examination days are going to be next week and the following, right? How do we know which one we're presenting now.
Okay, so next week, week 10, is the mock. When you come to the mock, we will make all the decisions in terms of, you know, where you're doing week 11 or 12 next week. So guys, please try and be here next week, not just in terms of practicing your examination, but to get details of what groups and the topic you're going to be moving forward on, yeah? We're using that time to do all of that, Jacqueline, so you'll have to be around for that, guys, all right?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, okay, and you'll know by then whether your group's going for week 11 or week 12. And there is choice in that, but I have to say, most people tend to go for a week 11 because then it means I'm over. But I'm not pushing that. You have got the opportunity to do that week. Your whole group has the opportunity, not you as an individual, because Amma made a very good point. What if I decide I want to do, you know, week 12? You could only do week 12 if your group decides to do week 12. So there are some parameters around all of this. Okay? Okay?
Yeah, all right, thank you.
Brilliant. Any other questions before we move on to the topic itself and have a bit of practice? You need a bit of practice on this one. It's my favourite.
Let's move forward. If we have a question later, we ask.
We certainly will. All right, let's do that. Good suggestion. We're going to move on. Right. So